A few days after John F. Kennedy was inaugurated President of the United States in January of 1961, Byron White, the Deputy Attorney General, slipped out of the Department of Justice building for a quick lunch at a nearby restaurant. After the sandwiches, his coffee was poured. The waitress looked carefully at White and asked, "Say, aren't you Whizzer White?" White took a sip of coffee, measured her slowly, and replied in a soft voice, "I was." F. Scott Fitzgerald famously said that there are no second acts in American lives, but there must have been times when Byron White wished that his first act could be forgotten once and for all. For his entire public career, White was constantly framed in the public eye by his headline-making first act, an act, so to speak, that made him a nationwide household name while he was still a teenager, but which penalized a shy, modest young man with expectations he could not foresee, did not wish, and sometimes could not meet. But we're already ahead of the game. Summary of Act 1. Byron Raymond White was born June 17, 1918 in Fort Collins, Colorado, but he grew up 11 miles away in Wellington, population 500 at the time. His father managed a lumber yard. Wellington's economy was dominated by sugar beets, a crop demanding attention constantly and backbreaking work. Both White and his older brother, Clayton S. Sam White, worked beet fields after school and during the summer from the time that they could wield a hoe. Winters were harsh. Spring brought strong winds off the Front Range, and summers were hot and dry. Character was shaped in the relentless competition between the land and the elements. Self-reliance was not an abstraction. By graduating first in his class from the tiny local high school, like his brother before him, Byron White earned a full tuition scholarship to the University of Colorado. There, he was a star in 3 sports: football, basketball, and baseball. President of the student body, Phi Beta Kappa, and again, like his brother before him, a Rhodes Scholar. His performance during his senior year is still, statistically, one of the most impressive in the history of intercollegiate football, and it was capped by All-America honors and brilliant play in the Cotton Bowl. So great was the press interest in the young student athlete that the New York Basketball Writers Association created the first national invitational basketball tournament, largely as a showcase for White and his teammates. White delayed his matriculation at Oxford to accept the highest salary ever offered to a player in the National Football League, $15,800. This was pre-TV, pre-Roselle. Following the 1938 season, he spent 2 terms at Oxford studying law, but he returned home when World War II broke out in Europe in September 1939. He spent a year at Yale Law School, won the Cullen Prize for highest grades in the first year, and then took a leave of absence in each of the 2 succeeding fall terms to continue to play professional football. He was thus able to finance his legal education, help support the medical education of his brother, and provide a retirement nest egg for his parents. With the onset of World War II, White tried to enlist in the Marine Corps to become a fighter pilot, but he failed the colorblindness test and had to settle for naval intelligence. And with the war, Byron White was allowed to drop out of the headlines. But for a half-decade, from the spring of 1936, he was a household name regionally, and from the fall of 1937, nationally. In an era when sports writers created dramatic athletic heroes, White was almost too good to be true.